The Trump administration's patience hasn't just run out. It's been replaced by a plan so devastating it's codenamed the final blow. We are talking about a clash between 110-knot stealth boats and the most relentless tank hunter in history, the A-10 Warthog. Is Iran's swarm doctrine a brilliant asymmetric masterstroke? Or are thousands of sailors being sent on a one-way suicide mission into a 30mm graveyard tonight? We go behind the curtain of the Pentagon's secret briefings to reveal how American hypersonic Dark Eagles and electronic warfare umbrellas are about to erase Iran's depth defense forever. This isn't just a skirmish. It's the permanent rewriting of the global map. Will the Persian Gulf become a tomb for the IRGC? Or can they actually pull off the unthinkable? As you watch this, Iranian IRGC commanders have issued a direct declaration of war, vowing to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. But behind the fiery rhetoric of their invincible swarm fleet, a darker reality is unfolding. One of desperation's secret envoys, and a regime in total panic. Right now, the Revolutionary Guard is betting everything on asymmetric swarm warfare. Their pride and joy are the Hader 110 missile boats, twin-hulled carbon fiber catamarans weighing just 9 tons that can hit speeds of 110 knots, roughly 203 kilometers per hour. Iranian commanders believe these lightweight, radar-evading vessels can slip past the massive American warships in shallow coastal waters, attack in dense swarms, and sow chaos before the big ships can react. They picture dozens of these boats racing in from multiple directions, firing anti-ship missiles, and creating confusion that lets them close the strait and hold the world's energy supply hostage. This is their historic stand, the move they say will prove their doctrine superior to American technology. The hatred driving this challenge runs deep. The Revolutionary Guard sees the U.S. Navy as an arrogant occupier threatening Iran's sovereignty and its nuclear ambitions at 60% enrichment. They are willing to risk everything to keep control of the jugular vein of global trade. But the moment Iranian boats surge forward, the American response will be swift and merciless. The U.S. military is not sending ordinary patrol ships. Instead, A-10 Thunderbolt, 2 jets, those legendary tank hunters, are already being positioned for a deadly hunt over Gulf waters. These aircraft have been given new operational flexibility, allowing them to refuel in mid-air from C-1 3 Hercules tankers using the probe and drogue system. That single technical upgrade means the A-10s can loiter for hours at low altitude and low speed, turning the sky itself into a stationary killing field. When the Iranian swarm appears, the A-10s will dive in with their GAU. 8 30mm cannons blazing each gun, capable of firing thousands of rounds per minute. The carbon fiber hulls of the Hader 110 boats will be ripped apart in seconds. What Iranian commanders calculate as a speed advantage becomes a death trap against aircraft that can see, track, and destroy them before they ever reach effective missile range. Attack helicopters will join the slaughter. Apache and Cobra gunships armed with Hellfire missiles will lock onto the speeding boats within seconds using advanced thermal and laser seekers. Even at 203 kilometers per hour, a Hader 110 boat cannot outrun a guided missile, traveling faster than sound or escape the kinetic fury of cannon fire raining down from above. The swarm that was supposed to overwhelm the Americans will instead become a spreading field of burning wreckage across the water. Iranian speed and numbers mean nothing against integrated American air power that combines precision sensors, overwhelming firepower, and total battlefield awareness. This is not a fair fight. It is a calculated massacre designed to destroy the Revolutionary Guard's naval arm in one devastating blow. The hatred the Garda feels for the United States will be answered with cold technological dominance that leaves no room for mercy or escape. Experience the brutal clash Iran's carbon fiber swarm versus the legendary A-10 Warthog. Can 110 knot speed survive a 30mm GAU-8 firing 70 rounds per second? We're breaking down the titanium bathtub armor and the Mach 5 Dark Eagle tech that makes this an ancient giant versus ants slaughter. Don't blink, the ruthless physics of the GAU-8 will redefine modern naval warfare before your eyes. If any Iranian boats somehow survive the first wave and launch missiles or attempt to close the Strait, the rest of the American arsenal will finish the job. 3 aircraft carriers, 27 warships, and more than 200 fighter jets are already on full alert. F-18 Super Hornets and F-35 Lightning IIs will blanket the area with an electronic warfare umbrella so dense that Iranian radars and guidance systems will be jammed the instant they activate. Ballistic missiles and kamikaze drones launched in retaliation will be detected, tracked, and destroyed before they can reach their targets. B. 1 strategic bombers are already moving into position, ready to deliver massive payloads against any surviving Iranian infrastructure. And looming over everything is the deployment of Dark Eagle hypersonic missile systems traveling at more than 5 times the speed of sound, capable of complex maneuvering to defeat air defenses, with a range of roughly 1,700 miles. These weapons will strike deep into Iran's mountainous hiding places and underground bunkers, shattering the regime's depth defense strategy in minutes. What the Revolutionary Guard thought was an unbeatable geographic shield will be pierced in the first salvo. Their hatred-fueled challenge will collapse into total military defeat. The regime's public defiance is already cracking under the weight of its own failures. Mysterious explosions and gas leaks are rippling through Tehran, Isfahan, and Shiraz, signaling that the system is rotting from within. The same Revolutionary Guard that boasts about controlling the Strait cannot even guarantee security on its own streets. Regional neighbors are turning their backs in open contempt. The United Arab Emirates is allowing American cargo planes to stage on its soil, while ordering its citizens to leave Iran, Lebanon, and Iraq immediately. Inside the Emirates' Iranian regime, flags are being torn down from shops and public spaces and replaced with the old lion and sun flags that predate the Islamic Republic. This symbolic rejection from a neighbor cuts deeper than any diplomatic protest. The regime's threats to destroy Gulf palaces if its leaders are attacked ring hollow against this calculated isolation. The ultimate strategic irony is unfolding. The very trap Iran built to hold the world hostage is now slamming shut on themselves. By threatening to choke the Strait of Hormuz, Tehran has triggered a counter-blockade that leaves them utterly abandoned. This isn't just a military failure, it's a geopolitical betrayal of historic proportions. As the UAE and regional neighbors turn their backs, the regime finds itself the lone target in a closed cage. The hunters have become the hunted, and the trap is officially closed. The hatred the Revolutionary Guard directs outward is being matched by growing internal rage as salaries go unpaid. Proxy forces like Hezbollah and the Houthis see their funding cut, and ordinary Iranians suffer under a collapsing economy. As the IRGC triggers the blockade, your life is about to get expensive. With Hormuz choked, experts warn gas prices will skyrocket to $10 per gallon, sparking a global supply chain collapse. Is this the end of cheap oil or the start of a total economic meltdown? Can your wallet survive? The United States is not stopping at battlefield dominance. After the initial strikes destroy remaining naval forces, ballistic missile launchers, and air defense nodes, the The final strategic move will be a naval blockade, unlike anything in modern history. The strait that Iran tried to close as its ultimate weapon will be forced open for world trade while Iran's own ports are locked tight. Oil cannot leave, materials cannot enter, and revenue will drop to zero. The regime that dreamed of holding the global economy hostage will instead watch its own economic lifeblood drained away. Daily losses already running into hundreds of millions of dollars will become total strangulation. The same blockade Iran once used to punish the world will be turned against it with surgical precision. American logistics are already surging. C-17 heavy transports flying constantly from Ramstein and Lakenheath through Incirlik and onward to strategic hubs, building the supply chain for an operation that could last months, not weeks. This is not a short demonstration. It is the infrastructure for a sustained campaign that could shatter the regime's ability to govern. The final blow briefing, presented by Central Command's General Brad Cooper at the White House, makes the ultimate objective clear. The target list includes 60% of Iran's remaining functional naval forces, half of its ballistic missile launchers, 2/3 of its air force, and critical underground military facilities. This is not simple deterrence. It is the systematic erasure of the military shield that protects the regime from its own people. When that armor is gone, the internal opposition the regime has crushed for years will rise again. The Revolutionary Guard's swaggering challenge in the waters of Hormuz will be remembered as one of history's most catastrophic miscalculations. Speed and swarm tactics extinguished in seconds by 30mm cannon fire. Hellfire missiles, electronic jamming, and hypersonic strikes that no mountain bunker can survive. The regime that hated the United States enough to risk everything will instead watch its own power dissolve in fire and isolation. Now, in the middle of this analysis, I want to hear from you directly. If Iranian Haider 110 boats surge out tomorrow to challenge the American carrier groups, do you believe they can create enough chaos to close the strait? Or will the A-10's Apaches and electronic warfare jets turn the entire swarm into burning debris? Within minutes, share your prediction in the comments right now. Every opinion helps us understand how this confrontation might actually unfold. The coming hours and days will decide whether this remains a war of words and positioning or explodes into open naval combat that rewrites the map of the Gulf. Iran's leadership is gambling its survival on a doctrine that technology has already rendered obsolete, while the United States prepares overwhelming force backed by global logistics and hypersonic reach. The hatred that drives the Revolutionary Guard to defy the world's most powerful navy is real, but hatred alone cannot stop missiles traveling at Mach 5, or cannons that fire thousands of rounds per minute. The regime that claims historic dominance over Hormuz is instead staring at its own political and military extinction. Stay with us for every breaking development in this fast-moving crisis. If this report gave you the clear picture you need, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Share this with anyone who needs to understand what is really happening in the Strait of Hormuz right now. Your support keeps these frontline analyses coming. The next move belongs to the IRGC, or the American carrier groups. Whoever acts first will change everything. What happens next could reshape the entire region for years. We will be here watching every second.